Karate Kid Legends was recently released, and the film has been highly praised by fans. However, it has also received many important criticisms. Who is right? We'll find out. Today on Charlietales, I'll tell you the good and the bad of Karate Kid Legends. Ready? Let's begin. My first good point is the essence of Karate Kid. Karate Kid Legends is the latest film in a legendary movie saga. It had the difficult task of respecting the essence of the franchise and bringing it back to the present. And I can say that it succeeded. This time we are told the story of Li Fong, a young Chinese boy who moves to New York with his mother. Here his life gets complicated when he is bullied by Connor Day, a rather violent young fighter. Now Li must defeat Connor in the city's biggest tournament to prove his worth and bring balance to his life. This is the summary of the story, and you surely notice that it's the same formula we've seen in many Karate Kid movies, and even in the Cobra Kai series. The movie directly repeats the franchise's recipe, but this doesn't turn out to be negative or boring. Quite the opposite. Li Fong's story does work, and we genuinely care about what will happen to him. The actor is charismatic, fights incredibly, and his Chinese identity adds a lot to the script. The story once again shows us a classic relationship between sensei and student. Jackie Chan does a great job as Li's mentor. He gives him some lessons about life and martial arts. The movie conveys a very good message about overcoming the past and losing fear. They tell us how Li is haunted by the death of his brother, and this prevents him from moving forward in his life. However, thanks to martial arts, he manages to focus and fight for a future. It's a simple message, but one that connects with anyone. The fights are also epic and very enjoyable. They managed to update the battle style to make them more agile and acrobatic. At several moments, you can clearly see Jackie Chan's influence in the choreography. If you're interested in a simple movie, in a good way, with heart and positive messages, then Karate Kid Legends delivers perfectly. My second good point is the charisma of the characters. Karate Kid Legends introduces several new characters that were quite surprising. For example, Mia and her father. They both do a great job building Li's motivations. At first it bothered me that they were given so much space in the movie, but in the end, they did fulfill their role. I particularly loved Victor. His character is charismatic, fatherly with Li, and brought a fundamental element. Thanks to Victor, Li regains confidence in his kung fu. This character gives him the motivation to fight. I would even dare to say that he becomes more valuable to Li than Mia herself. Of course, Daniel and Mr. Han are also amazing on screen. Seeing them interact is a dream for any Karate Kid fan. There are even moments where they fight, and you can feel that rivalry between karate and kung fu. Every scene with Daniel and Mr. Han is pure gold. Now let's go with the bad side of the movie. My first bad point is the superficiality of the script. Karate Kid Legends makes several mistakes, but the most important one for me is that it lacks the classic depth of the saga. The movie doesn't have that philosophical touch that characterizes Karate Kid so much. For example, in the first movie of the saga, there were several very deep moments between Miyagi and Daniel. You could feel that mystical aura of karate as a legendary discipline. In the current film, martial arts lose much of their mysticism. Karate and Kung Fu feel almost like simple tools for fighting. They barely focused on martial arts as a means to find balance. In the old movies, new and ancient techniques were introduced that held karate secrets. In the first movie, they presented the crane technique, a move that if executed correctly, had no defense. In the second movie, we saw Chosen being defeated by the power of the drum technique. Do you get me? There was always that ancient wisdom in the fights. On the other hand, in Karate Kid Legends, there is no new technique that works like that. Li Fong does defeat Connor with a special kick, but it doesn't hide any ancient secret. It was a kick that Li learned from his brother and was modified by Daniel and Mr. Han. This makes the kick just a fighting technique. They missed the opportunity to give it a philosophical background. There were ways to improve this. For example, they could have told us that the kick was a legendary technique that could only be performed by someone with spiritual balance. Then it would have been interesting to see Li Fong master it, since he lived tormented by his brother's death. That was missing. There is an important depth factor in the Karate Kid movies, and that factor was not understood by the director of Karate Kid Legends. This essence also worked in Cobra Kai. This is something extremely important in the saga, and here it was left in the background. Mr. Han is very good as a sensei, but he doesn't represent the level of wisdom that Miyagi had. He lacked time with the protagonist. This happened because the first hour of the movie told us one story, but in the second hour we saw something different. The beginning was an adventure of Li, along with Victor and Mia, and only at the end did we have the participation of Mr. Han with Daniel. This affected the film too much, because both Daniel and Mr. Han would have contributed much more if they had been given more space. Let's go with my second bad point, the wasted characters. Karate Kid Legends fulfilled the dream of many by bringing Daniel LaRusso back to the big screen, and not only that, but they paired him with Jackie Chan. This promised to be a legendary combination. However, the result fell quite short. I can easily say that both characters are greatly wasted. I totally love Daniel's scenes, but there were very few. All of Daniel's scenes in the movie were the same ones we already saw in the trailers. There's nothing more. This really hurt me. Ralph Macchio feels like a guest star. He only appears in the second half of the movie, and it's to help with Lee's training. Outside of that, he had no real connection with the protagonist's life. Therefore, Daniel feels super distant from this story, and it's a shame. They had the original Karate Kid available, but they chose to leave him in the background. LaRusso had a direct connection with Miyagi's philosophy. He could have contributed that philosophical component that was missing. Karate Kid Legends preferred to give a lot of time to characters like Victor instead of Daniel. Don't get me wrong, I adored Victor, but I would have much rather seen more of Daniel LaRusso. His face appears on all the posters of the movie. I went to the theater to see him. Jackie Chan's character also suffers due to this lack of time. In the trailers, he said that Lee Fong was to him what Daniel was to Miyagi. I expected to see a lot of development between Mr. Han and Lee, but that didn't happen either. Mr. Han's relationship with Dre Parker felt much deeper. I was hoping to see something like that in this movie, since now Lee is Mr. Han's direct family. There are also other characters that are quite wasted. For example, Connor Day. He was introduced as Mia's violent ex-boyfriend. He's a bad and angry guy, but beyond that, he's not explored at all. I would have liked to see more interaction between him and Lee. The rivalry between them doesn't feel really strong. In Karate Kid 1, Johnny Lawrence did share many scenes with Daniel LaRusso. It felt like the rivalry was the core of the movie, and that's why Johnny Lawrence became so loved by many fans. In Karate Kid Legends, Connor is just another character, and that affects the movie when we consider that he is supposed to be the main rival of the film. It's impossible to put him at the same level as Johnny. As a conclusion, Karate Kid Legends is a good movie. It maintains the essence of the saga, and it's made with a lot of heart. However, it does falter in many important points of the script and wastes good opportunities. Still, I totally recommend it, and I'm eager for a sequel. I want to see more Karate Kid. We must support the movie so they make a Cobra Kai one. That's all for today. If you liked the video, you'd really help me out by leaving a like. That would be legendary. Also, remember to subscribe to see more videos like this. Thanks for listening. My name is Charlie, and I'll see you in the future.